Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's versions of readings. This is on YouTube channel James13 Wicca. In case you're seeing it anywhere else, this is where it should be. Also, I'm now offering live readings, in-person readings, if you're near Herkimer, New York. This weekend, October 26th, I will be in Dolishville for a benefit for Lisa Knapp, doing short readings. I believe that's from 1 to 5. I'll have more information on my Instagram on that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Information below. If you're interested in the donation information, then information is also below. Thank you very much, and let's go into your reading. Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Capricorn? The Emperor showed up for Virgo too, which is another earth sign. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. There's some okay. Got a lot of cards out here. It's okay. Looks like it goes well, but it's got like good and then good. Good and then good. That's where it seems to be going. Embrace your purpose. I think it says life's purpose. So, okay, so the way I'm reading these, my first initial reaction to this was like, embrace your purpose, beware of your decisions, but it says make a decision, but I get like, be aware. Be aware of where your decisions are ultimately going to take you. Does that take you where you want to be? Does that take you where you want to be in the future? Keep that in mind as we keep going through this. Because you clearly have to honor your energy, right? And you got to be at peace with how you handle something and how you feel. But it's almost like some of this makes me feel like other people, and I feel like this happens to the best of us, other people, when they start to realize what triggers us, they start to manipulate it in their favor or in what they think is their favor. So it's almost like realizing that somebody is kind of like feeling like they know you better than they maybe do. Even though they may know something triggers you, they may not realize where you're going to go with it. So it's kind of taking that upper view of it, kind of like, okay, they think they have control of me. They think they can trigger me with this, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do what they want. But at the same time, I got to make sure if they're manipulating me, they don't take me away from where I need to be. I know there's a lot throwing in there. There's a lot throwing in there. I mean, it's a video, so you can rewatch it or slow it down if you need to. But I definitely get like there's a manipulation factor going here where somebody is going to do something and they think they're going to get a reaction out of you. The thing is, they may get a reaction out of you, but not what they wanted. The thing is, we just got to make sure it doesn't work against you. That's all. That's where we're starting at. Because I feel like a lot of us, when we get angry and people push our buttons, we just kind of react in certain ways. And it's kind of like making sure that just that moment doesn't bring us down later. That's all. The gift here. You manifest what you, I keep feeling, I'm an intuitive reader. I'm getting like, somebody feels like they have something to offer you, but they also, I feel like somebody wants to control you. I'm sorry, my phone was just making a weird sound. Even though I have it on silent, it still makes sounds. 4 of Wands, but it's like this. So it's not fully set. It's kind of like, if you think about concrete, it's kind of like, if it's left alone, it could set up and probably be good as long as it was mixed correctly. That's kind of like the 4 of Wands on its side, in my opinion. It's like, it has the potential that it could go well as long as it was actually done the way it was supposed to be. And the Tower coming in somebody seems to know. There's a lot of interference with this. I don't know if somebody has the wrong idea here is what I'm getting. Like somebody feels like they can position you to their advantage. Capricorn always shows up for a reason. You're not just going to be here just for somebody's pleasure. And there's something a little awkward with it. So let's just keep looking at it, because I feel like as it keeps moving forward, whoever this is you're dealing with, and I feel like for most of you it's a person. I don't understand what's going on with them. I feel like they might be a little bit unbalanced, or at least as far as you're concerned, they just seem to have a lot of wasted energy. Let's say that. They have a lot of wasted energy. They're here, they're there. Doesn't seem like that made sense. They do seem to have this manipulative quality about them. I keep picking up on that. Some people feel like that's the way to go through life. I do not. I do not believe manipulating people is like if you want somebody to do something for you, you should be on the level and tell them what you're doing and what you want, and you should just put it right out there. If you're trying to manipulate somebody, that's really never a good thing. I'm just not one to believe that. I don't know what's going on. Their energy is a little bit. I'm questioning, like, where do they really stand? Are they making good decisions, bad decisions? Are they making helpful decisions, selfish decisions? I feel like I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with them. And I feel like once in a while, you're probably going to tell them what you think about what's going on. Okay. I mean, when Capricorn has something to say, you say what you got to say, in my opinion. That's my experience with Capricorn. Got a lot of them in my family. If they have something to say, they say what they mean. And it's usually like, usually there's an explanation about why. Like, this is what I think, and this is why. Like, that's my interpretation of Capricorn, part of how you guys work. If I'm gonna spend the moment to actually give my opinion, I'm also gonna tell you why I have that opinion. And you do seem to have this moment where you come forward with the truth. I feel like you're more the Emperor energy in this moment. That's not your card. Your card is the Devil card in the tarot. This talks about Aries sometimes, which is fine, but it's usually a very strong, like, to the point honesty. But when they have the Capricorn flavor adding into it, it's kind of like, and I'm going to tell you why. This is how it's supposed to go, and I'm going to tell you why. And if you try to tell me different, I'm going to tell you why your plan won't work, and I'll give you the reasons, and I'll show you where that's going to fail and why this is going to succeed. Very to the point. There may be one of those conversations, and in the 10 of Cups along with that makes me feel like, as far as you're concerned, it's not a bad conversation. That's the 6 of Cups. Now, this is coming in right above it. Like, all right, this moment passes, and I feel like the 6 of Cups, is that the 6 of Cups? It is definitely the 6 of Cups. This moment is going to repeat later. By saying that, so it's like saying, we're not going to sell whatever, or we're not going to build this shed over here. And this is why you're saying we're not going to do that. We're going to do a lean-to over here, because what we're putting in there doesn't need all that, and it would be too confining. We need air to get in there for whatever reason. This will keep the elements from hurting it, and then we can block it off when needed, blah, 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 blah. It's just for argument's sake. We're not going to do the shed, we're going to do the lean-to, and this is why. And I feel like nobody really argues with you, because if they give you a reason like, no, I think we should do the shed, and you're going to be like, well, this will happen, and that will happen, and this is why that wouldn't work, and then you're going to have this space issue here, and you're going to have that issue here. It's going to be, we can make a bigger lean-to, and it'll keep the rain off of it, and then we can block in the sides a little bit and put a tarp in the front. It doesn't need, like, these things were made to be outside anyway. This is just kind of like lessening the elements. We don't need it completely out of the elements, and this will have more room. And you're giving all the reasons why. It repeats. It repeats. Somebody, are they going ahead and doing what they want? This was face down. Oh, I didn't even know that. They do what they want. Somebody else, like, it's like all of a sudden the shed is there. And you're like, and the way that they took that conversation instead of them realizing that, you're telling them we're going to need the lean-to with the bigger room and this, and then you given all the reasons, instead of them realizing that that's the better idea, they just took it as if, okay, Capricorn's not going to help me with that. We're definitely doing the shed. I'm just going to keep it quiet. And then when one day Capricorn will show up and they'll just see the shed. And that seems to be how they're taking it. And they just decide that you're not going to help me with that. All right. That's how they're taking it, as if you're not going to help them. And that's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is to say, that's not the best idea. That's going to cause more problems. Do this idea. This is the better outcome. It just doesn't make sense to them. Why? Because you're explaining to them, and I don't think they're listening. Or they're just, I don't know. They're just not doing it. Or they feel like they know something you don't. They change things, they make it happen, and they balance it out where they just don't tell you. There's, for example, the shed. It's just there. This is that part where it's like, embrace your purpose. Be careful of the decisions you make. Be careful of your long-term outcome. Because I don't feel like I'm impressed with that. But for whatever reason, especially if it's like a work situation, you got to work with what you got to work with. Understandably, you got to work with what you got to work with. 3 of Wands, I don't want to move forward with this. I know it's not right. I know it's not right, but it's on them. They did it. It's the best way I could say it. Like, I know this isn't right. I told my piece. I said that was wrong. They went ahead and did it without me even knowing. I didn't even have a chance to stop it. I had no idea if they were going to work right around me and just do it anyway. So it's their business. If it fails, it's on them. It's not on me. It's on them. But I'm not happy with it, and I'm kind of like, ironically, I don't want to move. I just like, I feel like I'm like, I don't like this. And I kind of, part of my brain goes, I think I need to make it right. So it's kind of like, all right, they did that, but we still need, that's not enough space. It's going to cause problems. So now my knee-jerk reaction is like, I'm not letting things go to pot here. Maybe I should just do it myself. Maybe I should just create the lean-to by myself. And I guess we'll have both things, which is wasteful, but the one that they got is not going to work. It's not going to be enough space, and it's going to cause problems. That's my knee-jerk reaction, and just kind of like, that's how they want to play. They're going to do it on their own. They're just going to sneak around and, all right, I could do that too. They're advising against that. Be careful of that, because it's kind of like there's a secretive energy. I'm not happy. I'm just going to keep it to myself, and I'm just going to make sure this works out where I need to. I'll create what I need over here. I'll just keep it private. In fact, maybe instead of putting it in the place where everybody can see, I'll put it back behind this row of trees where they can't even see it. I'll have the ability to use it. I'll keep what I need safe, and then they're just too bad, so sad. The possibility here is to not do anything. Is that realistic? Okay. Let's go with it. The situation needs to be seen for what it is. If you go ahead and do your thing, I don't think the situation is going to be seen for the misstep that it was. You definitely don't want to, cut off your nose to spite your face. You don't want to do that, obviously. But at the same time, they're saying, slow up, hold back. Doesn't mean you're not going to do anything, but like concentrate your energies on other things. It almost makes me feel like we're using the shed and the lean-to energy here. Maybe kind of like inventory and make sure you have the supplies to make the lean-to, but don't do it. Is an idea, possibility. Because I feel like what'll happen is that it'll make the situation more uncomfortable. They have to see that that was wrong. If you go ahead and do your own thing, it's going to look like that shed was okay, is what I'm getting. It may not be ideal, but it was okay. It'll be looked at as like it wasn't a bad decision. If you don't move forward, it will be seen for the bad decision that it was. And then once it's acknowledged for the bad decision that it was, especially if you have everything just waiting to the side, then have other people move in with you and create it with you, so you don't have to put the whole burden of you putting it together on your own, and other people get to share in that. But other people are going to obviously see, this is why Capricorn said those things. Capricorn was clearly right. But if you do it on your own and you keep it to yourself, I just feel like you're taking the pressure off the situation in some version, and it doesn't get highlighted for the wrong avenue that it was. So the thing is, now what I'm saying, like, embrace your purpose, be careful of the decisions you make long term. And I have a lot of Capricorns in my family, so if I'm wrong, you will tell me. I know you will. You'll call it right out. But Capricorn gets angry sometimes and likes to show people, they like to kind of just like let people kind of, swim on their own for a while, if you will. If you just fix it for yourself and then you keep it private, or it's somehow, I'm sorry, if I'm wrong, you'll tell me. I know you will. If you use that vindictive energy, sometimes it happens. Like a lot of Capricorns in my family. When Capricorn gets mad, they get mad. But they're usually kind of quiet about it. Well, not all of them, but sometimes. And they just make their point in very subtle ways, but they don't let go. If you kind of like hold that energy and you keep making people pay for their mistake over and over and over again, that could be one of those cutting off your nose to spite your face type situations. Where this is hopefully gearing this energy is kind of like, hold back, make your point, and then do your best to let it go and let things heal. There's going to be this need to hold on because I feel like I'm very offended that I went through the motions of explaining why that was wrong, why this was right, and why we should do it this way, and then they just snuck around me and did their own little thing. And I feel like, understandably, that's going to make you angry. If this hits, I feel like it's understandable that's going to make you angry. But the thing is, not to let it take seed in your emotions and start growing. We want to kind of like pluck that seed. Kind of like, all right, I made my point. It's obvious that was wrong. Let's pluck that seed so I'm not holding that. You're going to remember. Like, it's not like you're going to forget. You're going to remember what people do. And then just keep going and not letting this work against you down the road. Makes complete sense why you're upset and why you're unhappy, but it's kind of like not letting that take seed and grow from there. Because a negative emotion here, and it may start small, but it can, if it's not resolved or if I don't like let it go in some version, it's gonna kind of come back later and be a little bit worse, is what I'm doing. Because I feel like I made my point today, but I don't feel like I'm done. And then a couple months goes by and I'm like, I'm gonna make my point again. And a couple months goes by and I'm going to make my point again. And that could be like the cutting off your nose to spite your face thing. You don't have to be trapped in this situation. Be aware of how you're handling it. Be aware of how you feel. And step back and make your own decision how you want to handle it. A lot of us, I'm Pisces, I'm not Capricorn, I'm not an earth sign. But I feel like there's a similarity where our emotions get tied into some things and we just kind of like, our emotions just kind of take us, like I call it dragging me up and down the stairs. And sometimes it just kind of happens. It's kind of like, wait a minute, before this happens, before I let this happen, I don't want to be dragged up and down the stairs. I don't want to do that. I want to like decide where I want this. I want to let that go. I'm not going to forget what this person did. I'm not going to forget how they are, but I'm not going to let their presence create a reaction that I don't want, if that makes sense. I don't know if this is helpful. Paul McKenna, British author, How to Mend Your Broken Heart. It's geared towards romantic relationships. I've used those exercises to have the power in my control, because there's certain people, like, they just tick you off and it's hard to let it go. That book has helped me get a hold of those things, keep it in my control. This is how I want to react to that. And I take the emotional part and put it where I want it, so that people just being present doesn't trigger me, if that follows. In case that's something some of you are watching this and going, yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know. Certain people just trigger me and it's hard to not have a moment. Because I'm getting this situation, if you're able to rectify it, it doesn't have to be a reoccurring bad thing. I feel like if it goes well, the point is made that we should have listened to Capricorn in the first place. And later on, you're having more support, especially if this is a work situation. So say there's 5 people in your unit, and one person decides, well, we'll just keep Capricorn out of it and do what we want. Later, when people realize that was the wrong way to do it, like 3 out of the 5 people might kind of side with you and be like, no, I'm not going to follow, Snappy Pants there. Snappy Pants had us waste all our time and we didn't have to do all that stuff. If we just listen to Capricorn, at least the effort we put in will actually make sense and show dividends. So we're going to stick with Capricorn because Capricorn has the stable plan. But if there's kind of like a get even energy going on there, that may not occur. So that's kind of where we're gearing this. Like, to be careful of that, because if there's that, having a hard time letting it go, there may be an adversity or an inability to kind of come together that may not let that come together or gel together later like it possibly could. Are we good? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to get a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.